After 20 years of being the boss of Red Bull Racing Team, Christian Horner has finally lost a big fight inside the team. The team boss of the Austrian racing team has been fired right away, and we already know where he might go next. Horner wants to get a job at Ferrari because they really need someone to help fix their problems. But will this be enough for the Ferrari bosses to change things with their current team leader? And more importantly, is Red Bull going to start over completely? The Formula One world was shocked when Christian Horner got fired from Red Bull right away, and this news is making all the other team bosses go crazy. Obviously, there was a huge fight going on inside the Austrian team, and while Horner seemed to be winning it, the Verstappen and Marko group might have won in the end, with Laurent Mekies, the Racing Bulls team boss, stepping into Horner's job. The biggest question that we need to answer now is what's next for Horner. Let's look at a team that's having big trouble getting used to their leader, Ferrari. We know for sure that they called Horner not too long ago, and the British man said, "No way. I don't know how to speak Italian and I'm not going to leave Red Bull." Well, this was true. He doesn't know Italian and he didn't leave Red Bull. The team got rid of him. So, all of the stories we had about Horner are now falling apart, and it's time for a new chapter. Ferrari struggled to get good results week after week, and from a team that was supposed to fight at the front with McLaren, they've become just okay. Yes, they got some podium finishes here and there, and Hamilton almost got one at Silverstone too. But getting beaten by Hülkenberg twice just on speed in 2025 is just not good enough. The Ferrari bosses said they want to keep trusting their current leader at least until 2026, but now that Horner is available, I don't think they'll think twice before offering him lots of money. And the reason for this is really simple. Can you ignore how much Horner helped Red Bull in all these years? For championships with Vettel, a terrible time with Renault engines that turned into another success story with Honda, and let's not forget last year and Verstappen's championship. The Dutch driver won with the third fastest car, something that hasn't happened since 1982 and 1983. We know who was the team boss back then. But the atmosphere at Red Bull just wasn't right for Horner. Ever since the big scandal that involved Jos Verstappen and Helmut Marko, with the father of the four-time world champion going public and criticizing Horner, we knew something bad would happen to Christian. Another very big reason why Horner would want to join another team right away is because of why he and Red Bull split up. According to Martin Brundle, there wasn't any clear explanation from the owners about why he's not going to continue in his job and has been taken away from all of his duties. Talking more about this, Brundle said, "It's completely surprising given things that are going on and the problems in the team. Things we're hearing from Team Verstappen and others. I'm quite sad about it if I'm being honest. I think of Christian as a friend and he's done an amazing job there for 20 years. But it hasn't been hard to feel in the Formula One paddock and to see and hear things that weren't very good." According to Verstappen's group, they had no idea about Horner leaving. In an official statement they wrote, "We were told ahead of time about this decision by Red Bull management. It's up to Red Bull to explain why they did this. We continue to focus on the racing side and are looking for more speed so we can get back to the top. In that way, nothing changes." Did Red Bull suddenly just stop believing in him and that could turn things around? It could be, but let's not forget the bigger picture here. Max Verstappen, the four-time world champion, kept saying that he doesn't want to talk about his future at Red Bull, hinting that it's already decided. But after Horner got fired, I don't think this will be the case anymore. Let's also not forget what Horner survived in the last couple of years. He saw Adrian Newey leave the team, followed by Jonathan Wheatley and Will Courtney. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention Rob Marshall, the man who's responsible for where McLaren is right now. All of these people leaving had no effect on Horner's job at all. But when it came to Max's future being put under a huge question mark, the owners of the team all of a sudden decided to take action themselves. It could very well be that they talked with Max, Jos, and Helmut Marko, and they decided that Horner is just not the right man for this job. This is something that Jos has been warning about for quite some time now, and when talking about it, the father of the four-time world champion said, "There is tension here while Horner stays in this job. The team is in danger of falling apart. It can't keep going the way it is. It will explode." He's acting like the victim when he's the one causing the problems. But at the end of the day, it's really a new chance coming up for Horner, and I don't see how Ferrari won't turn their attention to the British man. Just look at what he's achieved. 8 championships in the drivers' category and 6 in the constructors. How do you beat that as a team boss? He was also the person who did this job the longest, with Wolff being very close second. And even though Ferrari wants to invest in their own people and promote from within, I really doubt that they'll have a better choice than Horner. Yes, certain talks will have to happen and certain moments would have to be forgotten from Horner and Red Bull's time together. But given that this is a new chance in place for Horner, I don't think this is going to be a problem. So, we've already decided that Horner is going to move to Ferrari, or at least he's going to try really hard to do so. What we have no idea about is what would happen with Verstappen and how the four-time world champion affected this whole situation. There are 2 possible things that could happen. The first one is that Max has already left for Mercedes. Everybody inside Red Bull knows that. So they've decided to get rid of Horner because if they're starting over, they might as well do it completely. You don't want to see the same mistakes happening to Lawson, Hajar, or any other young driver. Who's going to be moved up to Red Bull if Max isn't there? And I guess everything starts from the team boss. Let's not forget what type of leader Horner proved to be for Red Bull. Through good times and bad times, he never gave up on his drivers, and he even supported the struggling ones until they found their balance. But even more importantly, Horner was always pushing towards perfect strategy execution, which is something that Ferrari needs really badly. On the other hand, you could say that Max gave Red Bull an ultimatum. Things are not going the way they should, and if Horner stays as the team boss, then I'm leaving. Interestingly enough, these things are happening just before the start of the summer break, when we're expecting to have tons of news about the future of Max and Russell. But nothing suggested that Horner was going to lose his job, which makes everything 1,000 times more interesting to watch. Now, if Red Bull are going to lose both Horner and Max, they could be heading into a deep rebuilding time. And I don't think they'd make it past the middle teams once the new rules start without Max. But it makes more sense that Max would want to stay and fix the problems that have been caused by Horner's leadership. Could you blame him for wanting Christian out of the picture? The results are not there, the upgrades are not working, and the technical team from Balbo and Watch is just out of ideas about what could be done better. So, I'd say that Max has every right to demand changes. The man knows his worth, and nobody should question it for a second. And if Horner was fired because of the power of Max's words, then it's a clear sign of who is the #1 leader in the team. Then again, we know for sure that Verstappen is really wanted by Mercedes, and although the board of directors were the ones that needed to approve the move, news is coming from Ola Kalenius, the CEO of Mercedes, who said that the team has gotten permission to chase Verstappen. This comes right before Horner got fired. So, there's a third possibility that Red Bull might have had in their minds. What if we fire Horner just to prove to Max that we're willing to do anything to keep him on our team? It's likely going to backfire because Max doesn't want to race for a team that's desperate to do anything just to have him there. Either way, we could be looking at Horner leading both Leclerc and Hamilton at Ferrari, and I don't think it's going to be a bad decision. We've seen how Red Bull has performed amazingly well in terms of strategy under his leadership. That's exactly what Ferrari is now looking to do if they want to see winning championships soon. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really seem that the drivers are the problem. With all of this in mind, what do you think about Horner's possible move to Ferrari? And more importantly, where do you think Horner will end up from 2026 onwards? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.